and other major city airports due to the ongoing government shutdown. We'll discuss this and more on today's top stories. I'm Frank Billingsley.
And I'm Celestia Sherman. We'll also hear an excerpt from the latest episode of Ernie Manouse's InnerVIEWS series, in which he talks with State Representative Sylvia Garcia.
Plus, we'll also learn about a fundraising event presented by Communities in Schools of Houston, an area barbecue restaurant, the Pit Room, which aims to help support Houston students.
Also, we want to hear from you. Give us a call or send us a text at 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. You can also watch us on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org.
All this and more on Hello Houston right after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. As the holiday season begins to ramp up, airlines are starting to cancel hundreds of flights to meet a federal target of 10% fewer traffic at the nation's busiest airports, the fallout of a government shutdown. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says air traffic restrictions will happen gradually.
It's going to be 4% today in regard to those 40 airports, and again, we're going to step ladder that up to get to 10% next week. The exact number I can't give you. And I don't want to see the disruption. I don't want to see the delays.
As air traffic controllers go on 5 weeks working without pay, Duffy says the restrictions are the best way to keep air travel safe. Duffy addressed reporters at Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C., where in January a mid-air collision between an American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter killed 67 people. The shutdown has forced a broad cross-section of federal workers to go weeks without a paycheck. Some community organizations are stepping up. From member station WAMU, Jackson Sonnenberg reports on how one school district in the Washington, D.C. area is helping.
Arlington is the first Virginia suburb you hit west out of D.C. and home to the Pentagon. It's a hotbed for federal employees. That's why the superintendent of Arlington Public Schools asked the district to come up with ideas to help families. One solution, serve dinner at 3 schools while the shutdown lasts. Arlington Public Schools plans to live.
When you think about the schools that are there, and these are really the backbones of the community. So us being here and doing this meet is nothing different.
The school system plans to serve 250 meals at each school every weeknight for 30 days, or until the shutdown ends. For NPR News, I'm Jackson Sonnenberg in Washington, D.C.
The first Friday of the month typically offers a comprehensive report on the performance of the nation's employment sector for the prior month. Today, Labor Department has not released such a report. The government shutdown. President Trump says that Kazakhstan will join the Abraham Accords. These normalize diplomatic ties between Israel and several Muslim countries during Trump's first term in office. But NPR's Frank Ordonez reports Kazakhstan already has full diplomatic relations with Israel.
The president declared the move as a major step toward building bridges across the world. At a dinner with Central Asian leaders, including Kazakhstan, Trump boasted that the administration is negotiating with other foreign leaders about joining.
The Abraham Accords are very sought after right now. We're going to be announcing some very important countries that are joining.
It's a largely symbolic move. The White House described it as a signal that the accords are alive and well in the second administration. Regional concerns over the war in Gaza has been a major impediment to attracting more signers to the agreement, including Saudi Arabia.
That's Frank Ordonez. It's NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Alexandra Hart. Airlines are cutting back on the amount of flights that take off from Bush and Hobby airports beginning today. That's due to the federal government shutdown. News 88.7's Tom Perumian reports.
Reports say at 4 o'clock this morning, the TSA checkpoint was jammed with a line stretching to the ticket counters. At 5 a.m., the line was heavy but moving as more checkpoints were open. That line got considerably less until 8 a.m. when passengers were breezing through the checkpoints. Southwest Airlines, Hobby's major carrier, appears to be handling the reduction in stride, despite reports of expected backups due to crowds in the afternoon ahead of the weekend travel rush. Taking a wait-and-see attitude at Hobby Airport, I'm Tom Perumian, News 88.7.
During a meeting of the Texas Commission on Jail Standards in Austin on Thursday, Harris County was commended for addressing staffing issues inside the jail and ending a contract to outsource jail inmates. Friends and family members of people who have died inside the jail this year addressed the State Commission on Thursday, including Sarah Knight, whose son died after he was outsourced from Harris County to a private prison in Louisiana.
Because last month, 2 more people died in jail, bringing the death count to 15 this year. One of them, Miss Pebbles Garardi, was just 1 year older than my daughter and homeless.
Harris County Jail is still fighting to stay in compliance with jail standards as it suffers numerous other infrastructure problems. We can expect a big drop in temperature this weekend. That's according to Amaryllis Cotta with the National Weather Service. She says a cold front is coming through late Saturday into Sunday morning.
And that's going to usher in drier, cooler air in the wake of the front. We're also going to have some gusty winds going on Sunday into Sunday night. So if anybody has any inflatables or anything like that, we're suggesting to try to either reinforce or take them down for a little bit.
She says Sunday night into Monday morning is when the much cooler temperatures are forecasted. We're looking at a high of just 59 degrees on Monday. I'm Alexandra Hart, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive Insurance, home of the Name Your Price tool, so drivers can see coverage options at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Price and coverage match limited by state law. And the listeners who support this NPR station.
Live from the University of Houston, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manouse, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
Hello,
We're
Houston.
here.
We're here.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
How you feeling?
Better. I think something's kind of going on around, maybe in the air. I don't know. Frank, you sound a little stuffy.
Yeah, I've had a little of that.
It's going on. It's going around. It's all going around. But we have a great show today on Hello Houston. Thank you for joining us, whether you're tuning in to 88.7 or you're watching us on YouTube. Don't forget, you can go to youtube.com/Houston Public Media. You can.
We're so confused today, aren't we?
We are.
Friday.
It's Friday.
You've been sick. I've been sick. Everybody's been sick except Ernie.
There is something going around for sure. And coming up on Hello Houston, we're going to be joined by a local nonprofit dedicated to empowering students to stay in school and how they are partnering with the Pit, a Houston area barbecue restaurant that is delicious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You like barbecue, right?
You know what? I could bathe in it.
Oh, yeah, I love it. But first, let's head to Round Top really quickly. Frank, what is the weather like?
It's absolutely gorgeous out there. I can see it on our monitor. We're going to have a beautiful weekend, but here's what's going to happen.
Yes.
Tomorrow, we're going to have a high of 88, and
Okay.
then on Sunday, a high of 70. And we're going to see some 40s
Amazing.
and maybe even some 30s by Tuesday morning. So we have this big cold front coming in, but no rain with it.
That's what I was just going to ask.
No, it's going to be a dry, cold, windy cold front. So it's on the way. Get ready.
That's beautiful. But let's head to Round Top to check in with Ernie, who is at the Round Top Film Festival. Ernie, how is the second day of the Round Top Film Festival going along? It looks beautiful there.
It has been great here. Thank you, guys. I miss not being with you in the studio, but I'm here with someone even better. Sorry, guys. I'm with Jonathan Lipnicki. We're here at the Round Top Film Festival, which is just incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially for a second-year film festival. The level of talent. I mean, the people are incredibly nice. It's organized. It's fun.
Yeah.
A little warm.
But
we're
I was
making it happen.
expecting colder, Frank. You promised me a cold wave, but we're going to make it through.
We're going to make it through.
We are. Now, a lot of people are going to recognize you, maybe some from films you made when you were a little younger. Jerry Maguire, a few other films. You're still in the industry. You still do act, but you've shifted to finance, working and making it possible for other folks to make films.
Yeah, really I'm more on the, the development side and packaging projects, but learning a lot about that, which is a steep learning curve. I've learned, I was always good at connecting people from the creative side and, helping them with their projects, but learning that side, how to, feasibly get things made in a really tough time in the industry.
When you were young and coming up in the industry, were you aware of all the machinations it takes to put a film out there, or was it just, hey, I get to come and do this every day?
I always wanted to be a producer. I optioned my first book at 10 years old. It was always something I wanted to do. My first film, to get it financed, I sold my car. That was my first executive producer credit. And after that, been trying to find my way, but this year's been really incredible for my creative partner and I. We work at a production company called Buffalo 8. And we've been able to bring some great films to fruition, and it's been really exciting.
I was talking with him last night at the reception after the opening night film, and he was talking about the changing landscape of film today. In the olden days, the film went into the theaters, and then there was the ancillary sales, there's soundtracks and video sales and DVD sales. Yeah. Now with streaming, a lot of that's gone away, and it's harder to have a return on your investment in that world.
Absolutely, and it's, I think it's increasingly become difficult. So Stephen and I are trying to increasingly become creative on how not only getting it made, but getting it out there. And we're looking at a lot of different ways. I live out in Oklahoma now, and I think you got to get people excited to come back to the movies if you are doing a theatrical release. And I think community activation and getting people really excited locally for maybe a movie that you do film there locally. Yeah. And especially a lot is coming out here in Texas, and being able to, activate the community, make it an event, make it amazing to come back to the movies.
We were also talking yesterday about the idea that you need event films to get people into theaters, just kind of like on Broadway, where you need the spectacle to get people to go into theater. But you have a film just opened yesterday.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the film, and I'll let you talk about it in just a second, but the audience that film is built for, they seem to dependently still go to the films.
Yeah, it's a faith-based film called Sarah's Oil. True story. I have a small part in it. Not the most likable fella, but it was incredible to film, working with Zachary Levi. Had my scenes with him, and he's incredibly nice and gracious. And there is an audience there, and I think maybe it's not every temple project but there's riches in the niches, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think finding those communities that still want to go to the movies and gravitate towards certain material, faith-based being one of them, you can really hit some home runs.
Yeah. What about the shift into digital media sales? Now we're going back, it seems. Yeah. People are starting to buy DVDs again.
They are?
Blu-rays. Yeah, they
That's
are.
amazing. I didn't know
4K. They're out there doing that.
I like it. You know what? I miss going to Blockbuster. That's what let's take it back. I miss going there. I miss the event of seeing a movie. It's something that, I grew up on. The great thing about storytelling is, connecting with an audience. And if you can make somebody's day, we're not curing cancer, but if you can make somebody's day 1% better, through a film, make them maybe feel a little less lonely, entertain them, let them decompress and take a break. What a blessing, right?
Yeah. Not only are you here with your panel, you've also got a film here too.
Yes, another one where I'm a little part in it called Cottonmouth. It's a Western, first Western for me, so big deal. Lovely producer on that named Randy Wayne, good friend of mine for years, and that's really what it's a testament to. It's working with people that you love working with, that you trust, and building community around that has been one of the most beautiful parts about not only acting but producing. You have the people you really enjoy going to work with every day.
Yeah. You don't live and work in LA anymore.
No,
you work where the work is, but you don't live in LA anymore. You're not centered there. What is that for community? Can you have a film community spread out in today's day and age?
Absolutely. I have to say, Oklahoma is very gung-ho. I teach acting out there as well. And I have students who drive very far for each each class, and some who've stayed in hotels, and they come prepared and ready to go. Because there might not be quite as many opportunities that come out that way, but people are really capitalizing on them. And I think that one of the most beautiful things I found moving there was that sense of community. And I think you have to be able to build an infrastructure, not just bring movies out there and something be a location, but build an infrastructure where people can find consistent work doing something they enjoy. Because you don't want the best talent that's, whether it's created here or it's created in Oklahoma, exporting the best talent that you have to other places. So making it something that they can make a living at, feed their family while not having to leave, their hometown.
Well, everything's being exported to Round Top this weekend.
Everything.
Your film Cottonmouth is Sunday night at the festival.
Yes.
And it's a great weekend. If you can, come on out. It's a short drive from Houston. Come join us out at Round Top. Jonathan, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Back to you folks in the studio. Frank, Celeste.
Ernie,
Ernie.
Thank you, Ernie, and Round Top. You know, they're trying to make that film festival like Sundance. I mean, they really are trying to get it off the ground, so it's exciting for them. Jonathan Lipnicki, I'm with them. I love Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Be Kind, Rewind.
Be Kind, Rewind.
I know. It was always fun to go on a Friday and think, what am I going to watch? What of all these titles is available for me to watch?
Yes, I have so many core memories as a kid going, and my mom would order pizza. They were usually going out, and I would stay at home, and I would eat pizza, and I would watch all the different VHSs, and I loved it.
It's simpler now, but there you go. Okay, get us to and hopefully he didn't come in on an airplane that's been canceled.
Oh, man,
I know.
Frank.
Let's get to it.
Yes, we continue to monitor the latest on the flight delays and cuts across the United States. The Federal Aviation Administration will begin cutting flights at 40 airports nationwide starting this Friday morning, including Houston Bush's Intercontinental and Hobby airports, as the government shutdown continues to impact air traffic controllers who have gone weeks without pay. The affected airports in more than 24 states include the busiest ones across the U.S., including Atlanta, Denver, Dallas, Orlando, Miami, and San Francisco. Obviously, also right here in Houston, in some of the biggest cities such as New York, Houston, and Chicago, multiple airports are being affected. The FAA is imposing the flight reductions to relieve pressure on air traffic controllers who are working without pay during the government shutdown and have been increasingly calling off work. The move also comes as the Trump administration is ramping up pressure on Democrats in Congress to end the shutdown. What do you think of the move to flight cuts? What are you doing to prepare for your upcoming flights? Are you making changes to your travel plans? Now is the time to join us on Hello Houston. You can give us a call or send us a text, 713-440-8870.
Well, we've gotten our butt in a bucket, hadn't we?
Oh, wow.
Look, you know, if for years, for decades, if you're supposed to hire, and I'm going to say randomly, 500 controllers, air traffic controllers, and you only hire 400. So you didn't hire 100 that year. Well, over a period of years and decades, you're going to be short by 3,000, and that's what we are. We're short by 3,000 flight controllers. We should have 14,000. We have 11.
Wow.
Not only that, the mandatory retirement age for a flight controller is 56. So did you know 30% of those?
I did not know that.
Yeah, and 30% of those who are training to become flight controllers don't get out of training. They've quit. It's so stressful.
I think this highlights, to your point, this highlights air traffic controllers are so specialized. I mean, they are highly specialized federal employees that often we just think we go to the airport and it all just works.
Your turn to land. Oh, now it's your turn to land. Now it's your turn to take off.
And there are people that are back there making all of this happen. And they are essentially the front line of when we have these types of situations. They're going to get hit hardest.
Right. And so now you've got a shortage because of retirement and those who can't get through training and because we haven't hired enough over the years. That has nothing to do with the government shutdown. That's just stupid.
The industry.
That's just stupid corporate, whatever the government did to let this happen. I mean, you can't make 60 the retirement age.
There has to be a reason. We need to look into that. And, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and FAA Administrator Brian Bedford basically said on Wednesday that the 10% reduction that we're seeing that they're calling for is
in flights
is basically proactively of them trying to keep American airways safe.
Okay, so this is their way of doing it.
And they're also, while they're trying to think about safety, they're also essentially mitigating the fatigue that's impacting the controllers.
Because on top of all of this, now the controllers that are there are not getting paid. So a lot of them have to call in sick so they can go have a second job in moonlight to make money to get their rent paid. Because it's hard to tell a landlord, just give me 3 months. I don't know when this is going to end, but just give me 2 or 3 months.
Which is also a whole other conversation itself. But again, what do you think about the flight cuts? And what are you doing to prepare for any of your upcoming flights? Give us a call, 713-440-8870. Ray from the Woodlands is on the line now. Ray, welcome to Hello Houston.
Hey guys, good to be here. Good to hear you discussion going on. But I have a system. I think it's legal that we can stop the whole thing, get the flights going, and everybody getting paid, we're not paying the wrong people. We should not be paying Senate and House people. And
we're not. No, we're not, Ray. They're not. They're not getting paid.
Cut all that off?
They're not getting paid. No.
Well, their staff as well.
That's a good question. I don't know about their staff, but I know we've talked
all the way down the line.
We've talked to Sylvia Garcia and we've talked to Al Green, and they both have told us that they are not getting paid.
Okay. Will they get retroed after it does get?
That's a good question.
Oh, I wouldn't retro them if they don't do it in 2 days and get the thing resolved in 2 days. Then we're not going to retro. Some kind of incentivizing to get these folks to work together, and they can do it. They're big boys and girls, and they can do it.
I agree with you, and that's the shame of it, because you have all this that's led up to this shortage of flight controllers, air traffic controllers, the age they're required to retire, and the lack of hiring, and the stress, and now on top of that, the shutdown. They're not showing up, and when they do show up, they're tired because they're having to work double shifts, and so this is obviously a broken system.
And I do want to clarify, from what I understand, that during the shutdown, Congress does still get paid. So the short answer is yes, lawmakers will continue to draw a paycheck. The reason is because of how their pay is treated under the Constitution and federal law. Article 1, Section 6 of the Constitution states, the senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. I believe that went into effect in 1983.
So they're getting paid, they're not taking it.
They're not taking it. That's the difference.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Maha is on the line from Montrose. Welcome to Hello Houston, Maha. What's on your mind?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
You sure can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I have a question about the flight cut. So I have some family coming from internationally, and they're arriving to Houston this weekend. So I wanted to know if y'all know anything about how the flight cuts here are going to be affecting international flights, and if we should be thinking about anything.
I heard they're okay. I heard international flights are not being affected.
That's from what I understand
that's
as
what I
well.
read.
I do know that if you are flying in the next week or two, the Transportation Department has mandated that all airlines must issue full refunds to customers impacted. And I think these are for domestic flights. From what I also read, it was international flights should be okay. American Airlines is issuing travel waivers. United said impacted customers will be notified via the app and push notifications about flight changes and rebooking options. The airline also released, and this is for United, if you're flying United, the airline released a list of canceled flights from Friday to Sunday, and that's on its website. Again, that's United. Delta is also issuing travel waivers, allowing customers in impacted markets to change, cancel, or refund flights without penalty.
All right.
Southwest said the vast majority of customer flights won't be disrupted. So,
well, Darkwin says Congress is getting paid, as you noted.
Yes.
And Earl Grey makes the point that ICE is getting paid.
Yes.
But not air traffic controllers.
But not air traffic
now,
controllers.
which ones are keeping us safer, ICE or air traffic controllers?
Right.
You want to make that distinction?
I will say, I'm going to say air traffic controllers
I think so.
For 400, Frank.
And here's the shame. This is to keep us safe. Let's reduce everything by 10% to keep us safe. Let's not just go back to work and get this thing settled and pay everybody what they should be paid and get back to normal. Let's just have this standoff and look at each other in the eye and say, you know what, we'll just make life miserable. So if you have that wedding you were going to this weekend, you have that birthday party, that family reunion.
Or a concert that you might be going to.
Whatever you're doing this weekend, now you've paid money, you may not be able to get a refund on your hotel, on and on and on. And because they can't get this thing figured out, your life is going to be affected in a bad way.
And it's interesting, though, because you say that because they can't get this figured out, I think this could go towards policy in general. There are so many other avenues. For us right now, it's top of mind because a lot of people travel in the United States of America. A lot of people get on flights and things like that. And so it's our issue right now. But what about people that are on SNAP? What about people that need benefits and Medicaid?
That
and
are
hungry.
Or sick.
Well, it doesn't affect me, so I guess it's not a problem.
Well, now it's starting to affect, people that have rich problems, right?
Well.
Like I can't get to the wedding in Santa Fe. And so they're upset. Or business people who are trying to get home for the weekend. Once the average, and I say that in a nice way, I hope, the average American gets angry, this is going to stop. Yeah. Because until now, everyone said, well, I'm not on SNAP.
Right.
I don't.
Well, I've heard there might be some abuse that, things are bloated and, should we be feeding people? I've seen these things.
Sure. And now, you think, go get a job if you want to eat. Get a job. I've heard that.
Yes.
But now this is going to more and more start dominoing into just the mainstream of America, whether you're rich or poor or hungry or not. It's going to start affecting you. And that's when people are going to get upset and start making those phone calls to their senators and to their congresspeople, regardless of party affiliation, that they should have been making 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Now they're going to start making them. And they're going to say, look, this is ridiculous.
Again, 713-440-8870. Thank you for listening to Hello Houston. That is, we are talking about right now the different the flight cuts, delays, and how it is affecting Americans across the United States, but also just right here in Houston.
And I wonder if it's going to start affecting delivery, like FedEx and UPS. And all those planes, because they land sort of at different runways. I don't know if they have different air traffic controllers for those folks or not. But when your Amazon package doesn't get here in time because the FedEx planes have been shut down out of Memphis, then you're going to have another effect of this.
Right. And this, I don't think that this is necessarily something to be looking at, Republicans or Democrats. This is everybody.
This is the number one country, the most sophisticated country in the world. And we have to shut down air travel because we don't have enough air traffic controllers because we haven't hired them and we haven't trained them properly and we're making them so tired they don't want to come to work.
So you think this is also spotlighting something wrong with the industry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And COVID had a lot to do with it when we didn't need as much air traffic controllers because the planes weren't going up.
That's right.
So there was that. Training got behind. We haven't caught up with training. As I said, 30% of people in the training don't make it through because it's so stressful. And then you have to leave at 56. Yeah. So the seasoned people that are there, Doge didn't cut any of this. This is not a Doge issue.
Right.
This is not a Trump issue, except that the system is broken.
It's rippled down to this.
Congress needs to fix it, and they need to get back to work.
Agreed. Again, 713-440-8870. Miriam from Meyerland is on the line. Miriam, welcome to Hello Houston.
Thank you so much for taking my call. I heard you guys saying that international flights are not affected. I wanted to tell your guests that international flights are affected in the fashion that they may or may not wait for the passengers who are standing in a long TSA line, which is joint.
Oh, well, that's true. That is true.
And therefore, they may miss connecting flights in Europe or wherever they're going to. And this is a voice of experience.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that they are cautioned and they don't think that everything is as it should be. There's only one TSA line at IAH handling 5 terminals.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Thank
you're
you,
right.
Miriam.
You're right about that. That was happening this weekend with 3-hour waits on Sunday. People trying to get those international flights. And the planes may be going, but they may be going half empty because people can't get through TSA in time to get on them.
Right. And, as we look at this and we look at the delays, traveling is already, it can be stressful for a lot of people. And so if you are headed to the airport, take a deep breath, be kind, because I think everybody right now is feeling a lot of stress, a lot of pressure.
And remember, those people that are trying to help you are not getting paid.
That's right.
They are not getting paid, and they're trying to keep you safe and keep you healthy. Be nice to them.
Be nice. Be kind. Coming up on Hello Houston, Ernie sat down with Representative Sylvia Garcia for another installment of InnerVIEWS. This is News 88.7. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Lenny Ambrose from St. Arnold Brewing Company, proud supporters of Houston Public Media. Right now, with your $60 donation, you can choose tickets to News and Brews. This member-exclusive event takes place February 17th. Enjoy a pint, connect with fellow NPR fans, and meet the Houston Public Media Newsroom in person. Select News and Brews tickets when you donate at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate.
Coming up tonight at 6:30.
Next time on Climate One.
Fossil-fueled extreme weather is driving political instability around the world. Yet, even in war-torn regions, people are working across political and ethnic divides.
Whatever we can do to help this community withstand not only the climate change, but also the political climate.
Environmental peace builders working in the midst of war. On the next Climate One.
Listen Sunday morning at 6.
On Fresh Air, you'll hear conversations with entertaining people like Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson.
I gave him one take, one sound, one voice, and that was it. Blah, 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 blah. And Matt, his eyebrows went up, his tongue came out of his mouth. He's like, oh my God, that's him, that's Bart, that's him. You got the part.
The most interesting people in show business tell their stories on Fresh Air.
Fresh Air, weekdays at 8 p.m. on News 88.7.
Houston Matters highlights the people, places, issues, and ideas that define Greater Houston. And we do it live on the air weekday mornings at 9 on News 88.7. But we know you're not always available then to listen. So subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours, or find each day's program to stream online at your leisure at houstonpublicmedia.org. And reach out with questions or comments anytime. Email us at talk@houstonmatters.org.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on any of today's topics, call 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now back to Ernie Manouse, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
All right, Ernie Manouse is out at the Round Top Film Festival, but he left us with this. He sat down with Representative Sylvia Garcia, currently serving Texas's 29th Congressional District, for another installment of his InnerVIEWS. Here's an excerpt from Ernie's latest episode.
On this episode, we are thrilled to have representing Texas 29th. It is Representative Sylvia Garcia, who is not in Washington right now. And as we tape this, it's the day after the election. But you're not in Washington because the government is still closed down.
Well, we're actually not in Washington because the speaker decided to send everyone home because they're so afraid of the Epstein files that if we went back to having votes, would be there. He would have to be forced to swearing in Adelita Grijalva from Arizona. Mm-hmm. She's been waiting for over a month to be sworn in as a member of Congress, and they know that one of the first things she's going to do is sign the petition to force the vote on the Epstein files.
I guess the part that I get lost in all of this is, how do you know once that is signed and they release the files that you're getting all of the information?
Well, we don't. It's, there's a certain level of trust that we put on all our institutions. And of course, we have to trust that the Justice Department and the FBI will turn over all the files. But there will really be no way of verifying it, save Epstein himself having written down those notes somewhere and that they become discoverable. Because, in fact, his estate has been more cooperative and did provide some documents already to the Oversight Committee. So you've got that going on. She'll be the vote that we need, number 218, to force that vote. And the second thing is that the Speaker just flat said, we're not going to open up and do any business, everybody go home, until the shutdown ends, and that's in the hands of the senator. So while everybody else may be furloughed, while everybody else may not be getting paid, while everybody else is nervous about, their food on the table, we're getting paid because constitutionally we have to get paid. But we're also the ones not working.
Yeah.
We have not been in Washington for a vote now for, I think this is day 47.
Longest in history.
The longest in history. I mean, it's just, so basically it's vacation time for the Republicans. We've been back to Washington every other week. We're there, ready. We're ready to sit down and open up the government. But we don't want to just open it up without having assurances that will protect health care, that will lower costs for people and make things more affordable, and that we cancel some of these really horrific cuts that are in the appropriations and that were in the big ugly bill. So there's a lot at stake.
We've talked a bit in the past, you and I, and on other shows about the continuing resolution. And if you sign the continuing resolution, it's just for a period of time, then why can't you negotiate at that point? And people feeling like, well, Democrats not agreeing to that are going to hurt them. It's going to be bad for them. But we had an election last night where it looked like it is not bad for the Democrats, that the Democrats are being heard by the people and people are appreciating the work they're doing. Is that how you read it?
Well, Ernie, it's amazing. Since we're shut down for us, really, is we're not in Washington voting. We're at home. We're working here. We're just not working in Washington. And it's amazing to me the number of people, even randomly when I'm at the grocery store or where I'm just shopping somewhere, that people just stop me and just say, Congresswoman, I know you don't know who I am, but, we've got your back. You keep doing what you have to do because they know that it's real. When 42 million Americans right now are not getting the food at the table through the SNAP program, when over 12 million Americans will probably lose the Affordable Care Act because there's no subsidies, there's just so much there. The military families, most people don't know, but military families also get SNAP program. Mm-hmm. I know some people still call them food stamps, but because we don't pay our military enough, and if they've got 2 or 3 kids, there's not enough food on the table. Well, they're not getting their food stamps either. Yeah. So it's people know what's at stake, and it's about fighting back.
We'll come back to this and the current issues facing the government in just a moment. But I guess I want to look at this from the point of view. A lot of people think to be a productive, a good elected official, they often say, we look for lawyers, people have legal background in that. And I know that you have that. But actually, you started out in social work. And I'm wondering if that training, that understanding actually helps you even more being a civil servant.
Oh, absolutely. I think, I was at a conference, and I had spoken on one of the panels, and this was years ago, and right after me was Barbara McCluskey, who was a senator, U.S. senator from Maryland. Mm-hmm. And then after that was one of our keynote speakers was Paul Begala, who is a commentator and well known in the political national circles. And in what he said, it crystallized it for me because he said Sylvia and the senator are like what it really should be when you're in public service. They were both social workers. They know how to talk to people straight in the eye, and they can put themselves in the person's shoes. Mm-hmm. She said, and he said, most politicians don't get there. They can be briefed, they can listen, they can be told what questions to ask, but putting yourself in that other person's shoes is the hard part, and social workers know how to do that. And I talked to him afterwards, and I said, I had never really looked at it that way. I always saw it as an extension of my social work. But I hadn't pinpointed it that it was about being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Yeah. And there's a lot of people who just can't do that. And it's, frankly, I don't know that you can train someone to do that. It's one of those things that you got the heart or you don't.
Yeah. When we were talking about the new mayor of New York City, and you've got that one voice coming out. And at the same time last night, we saw Gavin Newsom come out with a very different approach of how he is looking at things and moving forward. Do you think Gavin Newsom may be the direction in more of the parties going? And by that I mean we've been shown a new box of tools, and we should be using them too, instead of going back to the way Democrats used to approach things in a more, I don't know if balanced is the right term, but a more collegial, you used the word a moment ago. But can you fight fire by being quiet, or do you have to fight fire with fire?
No, I think the time that we're in, because we're seeing so much that is disrupting our democracy in the way that we need to be doing things. I mean, when you see the guard from Texas in Chicago, harassing and stopping and putting a pepper gun to the face of a priest that's simply a pastor, that's simply they're praying. There's something really wrong with that. When you see them, zip tying 15 and 16-year-olds, there's something really, really wrong with that. So people expect us to fight back, to do something, to stop this, because that isn't, as you said earlier, even people who voted for the fella in the White House, they feel like that's not what they bargained for. That's not what he said he was going to do. But it's not just been on that. It's been what he's doing with education and wanting to totally dismantle it. What he's doing with all the cuts to Medicare. Then he promised that he would cut prices on eggs day one, and instead of the egg prices going down, maybe they have a little bit, but everything else has gone up. The housing crisis, people can't even buy a house between the tariffs and the workforce shortage because of the deportations. They can't buy a house. So, and if they do, the insurance is costing so much for their mortgages, they can't afford the house. So when people see all that, they want change, and they want it like now because they feel cheated. So that's why his approval ratings are low. But that's why I think that Newsom decided to fight back. So I think that the direction of the party is somewhere between Mondami and Newsom, but also probably between others from that like the two women who got elected governor. Focus on affordability, how things are going up and up and up and not being affordable for Americans. They got elected. That is also a new direction for our party. So I think it's a mix of all of them. And I think what we're learning is that, like everything else, all Democrats are not all alike.
Yeah.
It's a big country. There's so many of us. We just have to find a consensus candidate that we can run next time. And I think that we may not even know who that is right now, but it's going to emerge.
You've already indicated that you are looking to run again when this term ends, so no time you're giving up anytime soon. What is it you would like to accomplish next? When you're out there, when you're back in Washington?
Ernie, that's an easy one. You've asked me that probably another time. I want to pass the DREAM Act. I mean, the very idea that we're holding up, young people who came here as children. The average age of a dreamer is about 8. When they first came, was 8 years old. We can't punish children. They don't have a choice, and they've been here in this country. They know no other country. Some of them don't even have relatives here anymore. You would be sending back someone, a stranger, to their own country of origin. So I think that we need to do right by these dreamers and give them a pathway to citizenship. And it's all tied up in courts. And it is a Houston court that will be deciding the fate of the Texas dreamers because Judge Hainan has had the case, and we're still waiting to see what he's going to do because it was appealed and it's got sent back. So there's about, 100,000 dreamers that are waiting to hear.
Well, I wish you luck.
I've got so I carry the DREAM Act. So that's my dream, is to pass the DREAM Act. I tell everybody that once I do that, then I might start considering writing the book that I've always thought about.
And I'll be the first one in line to read it.
Okay. Well, no, I'm going to have you probably help me proofread.
Okay, I'll proof it with you.
You'll be more involved in my book than you know.
Uh-oh. Representative Garcia, thank you so much for sitting down and doing this and taking the time to talk with us.
It's been fun.
That was an excerpt of Ernie's interview with Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia. The full interview will be available soon on the Houston Public Media YouTube channel. Coming up, we'll highlight Communities in Schools, a local nonprofit, and their upcoming fundraiser with the Pit Room. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
888-909-0887.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from the Houston Ballet, presenting Stanton Welch's The Nutcracker. The holiday tradition returns to the Wortham Theater next Friday. Tickets available at houstonballet.org.
Support comes from UT Health Houston, home to Dr. Ricardo Mascara, who developed a comprehensive care clinic to improve outcomes for children with complex medical needs. More at uth.edu/manyfaces.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on any of today's topics, call 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now back to Ernie Manouse, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
I love this next segment, and we have all these beautiful people in our studio to talk about it. Communities and Schools of Houston. It's a campus-based area nonprofit dedicated to empowering students to stay in school. We'll talk more about that. And they're partnering with the Pit Room. We love that. I know. So this fundraising event is really all day tomorrow. It's really aimed at students by generating funds for CIS programs, academic support, mental health services. That's a big part of this. The event will feature everything from delicious Pit Room barbecue to fun music, a silent auction. We're joined by Jen Espey and Jen Moss, the two Jens.
We are the two Jens.
You are the two Jens. I love it. And Michael Sambrooks, owner of the Pit Room and Candente. So tell us what's going on tomorrow.
So it's called the Brighter Futures BBQ. It is an all-day event, two-pronged. So all day, starting with breakfast tacos in the morning at the Pit Room in Montrose on Richmond. All the proceeds from all their food and drink sales all day are going to CIS.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
100%. We cannot
Everything
overstate.
we make is going to be donated and matched to CIS.
I love it. I told Kevin, I said, I know where we're going for lunch
We're
tomorrow.
going to be
There
there.
you go.
Yeah, so
Appreciate
question
that.
for
Yeah.
you. How did the conversation happen? How did y'all decide to partner for this type of event?
So my dad's been working with CIS for about 30 years.
Okay.
And me and my dad, kind of a family-run business. We started the Pit Room together about 9 years ago. And, we do a lot of charity work in the community, but we were looking for kind of one that we really believed in the mission that we wanted to kind of partner with to do the majority of our work with.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we partnered with CIS, and we've been doing this for 3 years now, and it's going really well. We're trying to grow our following, and we really like the event.
And talk to us about the mission of Communities and Schools of Houston. I know Frank talked a little bit about, y'all support mental health and keeping kids in school, but talk to us about Communities in School and what y'all do.
So Communities and Schools has been serving the students of Houston since 1979, and we are currently on 147 campuses across 6 school districts and a few charter schools in the Lone Star College network. So really, it's all about being embedded on the campus. That's really our secret sauce. I'll stick with the barbecue theme here, but the secret sauce is really the fact that we're on the campuses. So it's all about building relationships with the kids on the campuses, and it just becomes like that trusted face that they can go to, in times of need. We have our student support managers that are on the campus every day, building those relationships, and they are really meeting kids where they are. So if there's, there are some children that they do see every day if they need to, but you never know when life's going to throw you a curveball, and that's what we deal with. We are good at dealing with curveballs. We are, crisis managers. So we have a vast partnership network.
So is this one physical person right there on campus?
Yeah.
All 147 of them?
Yes. There's either 1 or 2 student support managers on every campus.
And this money goes to support that?
Like programming, and really it's all about just making sure that we have whatever that need is that those children have or those families have. It's like we can we'll find a way to get them through it.
If there's a problem, you'll fix it.
Yeah, it really is. So
I love that.
It is like a safety net at the schools.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's get back to food.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
We know that we're going to start with breakfast tacos.
Yeah.
And then where do we go next?
All day at the Pit Room Montrose, proceeds go to CIS. In the evening is a ticketed event at the Pit Room Memorial City on Katy Freeway. It starts at 6 p.m. It's all-you-can-eat barbecue, open bar, fabulous silent auction, music. Very short program, but we're going to tout all the great things that CIS does.
So it's just one seat, one ticket. It's not like a come and go. You come and you do
it starts
like a
at
gala.
Correct,
right.
But it's much more casual. We encourage Western wear, and it's rodeo themed, and so it's going to be a fun evening.
I notice you're in white, which is never a good idea with barbecue. At least not with me. Darker colors for sure.
And so, Michael, what will y'all be serving when you're looking at an event like this? How does it differ from your everyday type of restaurant feel?
So we're going to be serving everything. So the full barbecue menu is available. We're going to set out a giant buffet, and people who bought tables, they're going to get kind of a special menu, which gets our feast that features every single meat that we have, every single side that we have. And in addition to that, we're going to set up its own service line for the party, for the ticketed guests. And it's all you can eat, all you can drink. 100% of ticket sales go back to CIS. And so come in and just sit down and party, really. That's all.
Not to sound too mercenary, what's your financial goal with all of this?
Well, this is only our third year doing this.
That's okay.
We have a big gala in the spring that we really were looking for something that was a little more casual and laid back, and so we're trying to hit about 100,000.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, is that okay?
It's got to be expensive to put people in schools like this. I mean, where does the money come from to do this? Other than just raising it like that.
It does come from CIS. So your all the proceeds from tomorrow's events will definitely help CIS on their end, and it's also a partnership with the school districts as well. So they also contribute. It depends on. It's like usually a 50-50 type split, but sometimes it's a 60-40.
Yeah.
But the school districts that really they know that CIS works because. And they're always willing to be partners with us.
So, Michael, speaking of contributions, why do you feel like it's important? I mean, as a restaurant owner, somebody who obviously believes in community and bringing people together, but why was it important for you all to give back to the community and partner with CIS?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of success, and we want to do something for the communities we serve, right? So, and what we do best is giving people food and making people happy. And so if we can do that and give back to, a good cause, that's kind of what was important to us. And we wanted to pick something that we really felt passionate about that we could make a bigger impact in. So that's kind of why we stuck with communities and schools.
That's amazing.
That's nice. So what's your role? I look at one Jen. Then I look at another
I
Jen.
can just say Jen and see who answers.
What's your role in all of this?
So Jen and I are co-chairing the barbecue. Jen is a CIS board member. I'm more of a friendly supporter of CIS, but I have been a mentor through CIS for a student in Espey ISD. And I've been to the gala, and I've been a donor for several years, so they do great work.
I was going to ask that. So this is your third year to do the fundraising with this, but how many years have you been in existence?
Well, CIS Houston's been in Houston since 1979, so we're in our 46th year. Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
And I'm embarrassed that I don't know more about it.
Well, I know. It's kind of, that's a thing with us, but, we're just embedded on campuses. We're in a lot of, more of the underserved community is really kind of our focal point.
Right.
We're on a lot of Title I campuses, but we're also like in Espey ISD, we're at Memorial High School and Stratford High School. And so those are more like mental health wellness counselors that we have there. So it's just, yeah.
Well, Jen, when you were working as a mentor, you were kind of, in it. What did you see the impact on the students that you were with, or how were you mentoring people or young students?
I met weekly with my mentee, and he was very, I could barely understand him when I first started meeting with him. He was so soft-spoken and insecure, really. And as the year went on, he really opened up to me. And honestly, a lot of what we did was just play card games and chat. And he really opened up to me as the year went on. And it's funny that that summer I was in contact with his mom for a variety of reasons. And she was telling me she was really hoping that I could be his mentor again the next year because how much he appreciated, the support he was getting.
And I would imagine as a parent to see your child go to school and start seeing that evolution is life-changing. Like Frank said, I mean, I know not just for the child, but also as a parent myself, I can imagine that feeling of, okay, something is working.
Somebody's
here.
listening to
Somebody's
me
listening.
and seeing me.
Well, and those student support managers, they really do, by building those relationships, if a student just stays with CIS from whenever they come on board, I mean, if they stay with CIS, I mean, our high school success, our graduation rate is 98%.
Fantastic.
So it's like,
and so the kids that are involved with this,
yes,
98% graduate.
They graduate from high school, and then we always are like, making sure they're set up for success in the future, and going on to.
And I would
what's
imagine,
next?
I would also imagine that there's another flip side on the education part of it, where as a teacher, right, we're talking about the students and we're talking about the parents, but I would also imagine that as a teacher to have you all also as that kind of support where they're not having to necessarily leave.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I really noticed when I started getting involved with CIS. I mean, a story that sticks out to me is like there was a child that kept showing up late for class, and then we found out that he was taking care of his siblings at home, or he had to get them to, he had to get them to school. And
he had responsibilities.
And so then because we had CIS on campus, that teacher was able to chat with the CIS student support manager and get that child connected with CIS. And then it was like, oh, okay. We know what's going on now. So it definitely helps in the teachers in the classroom and the academic counselors on the campuses as well. It really kind of lessens their load.
Yeah. Any guess as to how many students have been affected by CIS?
I guess since 1970, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, thousands.
Thousands and thousands, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How have you seen the evolution of the organization change, given the fact that y'all started in the 70s and here we are now in 2025? How has the actual organization been able to meet the new needs or the different the way things have evolved?
Well, CIS has an amazing staff. I mean, their central office, their directors are some of the most dedicated people I have ever come across, and you meet CIS student support managers that have been with CIS for over almost their entire career. Like they're always celebrating an anniversary of somebody who's been with CIS for 30 years or 25 years. I mean, it's just these people, I really think they're angels on earth. I mean, they just and I've been involved with CIS since 2011. So just my time with CIS, you just see there's a dedication there that.
Okay, nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
People want to learn more. Is there a website?
Yes, that's cishouston.org. You can go there. You can find ways to get involved, ways to donate, find out more about our story.
Buy tickets to the barbecue.
I was going to say,
buy tickets to the
Brighter
barbecue.
Futures BBQ. Where can people find information about that? I saw on YouTube we had some questions.
Yes, you can go to the cishouston.org website. It's right up front. The barbecue is featured right now on the website. So
are there tickets left? Tables
there are
left?
tickets left. Tables left.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know.
Is it a barbecue enchiladas that you do at Candente?
That's at Candente.
I know.
Those won't be at the Pit Room.
You're not going to throw them in at the special table.
Not this time.
That's so good.
You get a couple beef ribs on those.
I know where I'm going to lunch tomorrow.
Yeah,
great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Jen Espey and Jen Moss are the co-chairs of CIS's Brighter Futures BBQ. Thank you for joining us today. And Michael Sambrooks is the owner of the Pit Room and Candente. Thank you for coming back to Hello Houston.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Always good to see you.
Always great to see you.
Food.
Brighter Futures BBQ will take place this Saturday, November 8th at the Pit Room. Coming up, we're going to continue diving into today's top stories. Stay with us for the second hour of Hello Houston.
Stay tuned. There's more Hello Houston on the way with Ernie Manouse, Celeste Diaz-Sherman, and Frank Billingsley. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at HoustonPublicMedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
I'm Christopher Kimball from Milk Street Radio. This week is the story of how tin fish became a cultural sensation.
From kitchenware at World Market to dresses and candles at Anthropologie, sardines have become more than just a savory snack.
Everyone gatekeeps this beauty secret, but I eat sardines every single day. Let me tell you why. You're so cute!
The surprising rise of tin fish. That's coming up this week on Milk Street Radio from PRX.
You can hear it Sunday at 1 p.m.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Hildebrand MBA at UT Austin's Macomb School of Business, offering the weekend MBA at Houston. Campus visit November 8th. Details at texasmbaevents.com. Make it here.
Sunny today with our high 85. Some patchy dense fog after midnight, so it'll be foggy in the morning. Otherwise, clear skies. A low near 66. It's 82. Your NPR station, KUHF, Houston. News 88.7, a service of the University of Houston.
Just ahead on this hour of Hello Houston, the Trump administration has announced a deal to lower the cost of weight loss drugs for those on Medicare. We'll discuss this and more as we continue diving into today's top stories. I'm Celeste Diaz-Sherman.
And I'm Frank Billingsley. We'll also speak with Deborah Birge, a former rancher, who will tell us more about the current state of the cattle industry.
Plus, our own Ernie Manouse will broadcast live from the Round Top Film Festival in Round Top, Texas, to tell us more about everything that will be available at the festival this weekend.
And we want to hear from you. Give us a call or text at 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. You can also watch us on YouTube by going to houstonpublicmedia.org.
Hello Houston continues right after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. The White House is hosting Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban today. NPR's Rob Schmitz reports Orban would like to broker another summit between President Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
Orban, who is close to both Trump and Putin, has proposed hosting a summit in Budapest. He also plans to discuss an exemption from U.S. sanctions against Russian energy. Hungary relies on Russian crude oil, and Orban says without it, his country's economy would be in trouble. Another priority for Orban is to persuade Trump to visit Hungary, as Orban faces an unprecedented challenge to his power from a new opposition.
They did that?
No, I did that.
That's adorable.
That's adorable.
Orban believes a visit by Trump energizes strong conservative base.
So check it out. So camera's good.
Airlines are beginning to cancel flights
Camera's
in
good.
major hubs
DJ
across
and Mike
the
is
country
synced.
today.
We're good to
Because
go.
the Federal Aviation Administration is cutting traffic at the nation's busiest,
This has a hand.
40 busiest airports.
Just do it.
By
I mean, like, even
10%.
if you're
From
here.
Member station GBH in Boston,
Like,
Jeremy
I'll keep,
Siegel
just
reports
keep it at the bottom
the
of
move
frame.
is
Nobody-
intended to
nobody's
ease the
gonna be
burden on
wiser.
air traffic controllers who've
Yeah.
been
The
working
mic
without
picks up
pay
from
since
there,
the
so,
start
I mean,
of the government
Here
shutdown.
from those
Patricia
holes.
Andeweg was supposed to fly from
So, I mean,
Boston
if we
to
wanna turn this way,
Australia
we
to
can.
celebrate her 90th
Do you have a
birthday
stick mic we
with
can just
family
stick it
this
on?
week.
I-
But thanks to a
don't
series
like-
of delays and now
Not-
the shutdown-induced
not in the-
cancellations,
not in
she
the-
missed her
the
connecting
7
flight.
minutes.
Andeweg says at this point it's not
She's
worth
on the
the
farm
trip.
shooting.
I'm missing my birthday, but on the other hand, I met so many helpful people, right, left, and centre. I call it the journey to nowhere.
Airlines are phasing in the 10% reduction in flights, so cancellations are expected to become more widespread in the days ahead. For NPR News, I'm Jeremy Siegel at Logan Airport in Boston.
It is the first Friday of the month, which normally means the release of a new government jobs report. But for the second month in a row, that report's been held up by the government shutdown. Here's NPR's Scott Horsley.
The last official jobs report we got was 2 months ago. And as Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook told an audience at the Brookings Institution this week, that's a long time in a fast-moving economy like ours.
I'm worried about the labor market because it can turn very quickly. It can deteriorate very quickly.
That's why the Fed lowered interest rates last week in an effort to boost demand and try to prop up the job market.
That's NPR's Scott Horsley reporting. Economists are getting indications about the labor market's performance from other sources, such as Challenger Gray and Christmas. The outplacement firm put out a report saying it was the worst October for layoff announcements in more than 2 decades. The Dow is down 237 points. The Nasdaq has fallen 352 points. This is NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Alexandra Hart. The Houston Food Bank is hosting more than a dozen food drives this month in response to the federal government shutdown. As News 88.7's Michael Adkison reports, the longer the shutdown goes on, the greater the burden on federal workers and SNAP recipients.
Federal workers have already missed one full paycheck and then some, but if the shutdown, now in record length, continues, they could miss another full paycheck. Food Bank President and CEO Brian Green says their supply is plenty, but distributing it evenly can be difficult.
A number of our pantries, keep telling us, no, we ran out, and you hate to see that happen in the distribution. So we're trying to find, where are we falling short so we can increase supply to those areas.
The food drives will take place throughout the month, even if the shutdown ends. I'm Michael Atkinson, News 88.7.
You can find a list of those events on our website, houstonpublicmedia.org. A retired astronaut and Air Force colonel has pulled out of the Democratic race for the U.S. Senate and instead declared himself a candidate for Texas's 9th Congressional District. Renee Cross, executive director of the UH Hobby School of Public Affairs, says Colonel Terry Virts could be a strong Democratic contender for a state seat lawmakers recently redrew to be a Republican opportunity district.
He's already talking about affordability and working class issues, which will resonate extremely well in that district the way it's drawn now between East Harris County and Liberty County. That more populist approach, I think, will attract some attention.
Virts enters a field that already includes 2 Democrats, 1 independent, and several Republican candidates, including State Representative Briscoe Cain and former Harris County Judge candidate Alexandra Del Moral Mueller. California Governor Gavin Newsom is scheduled to make a stop in Houston tomorrow. He's meeting with lawmakers just days after voters in his state approved a plan to balance the redistricting effort done over the summer in Texas. Governor Abbott will also be in Houston on Sunday to make what he says is a special announcement about his vision for the future of Texas. I'm Alexandra Hart, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Fisher Investments. Fisher is committed to helping clients stay on track to reach their financial goals and enjoy a comfortable retirement. FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Hello Houston with Ernie Manouse, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
We're back on a Friday.
Welcome back to the second hour of Hello Houston, and it is Friday, November 7th.
You almost messed that up.
11-7. I was so smooth. I'm a little rusty today. I'm back in the saddle. I need to get back in the saddle, Frank.
Well, it's nice to have you back in studio.
Thank you, Frank.
Ernie's out at Round Top. We're going to be visiting with him this hour.
Yes, he's out at the Round Top Film Festival. Have you been to Round Top, Frank?
Not in 100 years. I have, for the antique thing.
At the antique, yeah.
But when I went, there was like one shop. I mean, now it's like
it's a whole
miles
thing.
of
It's a whole thing. Women from Houston, I should say women, people from Houston love the Round Top Antique Show.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine, Sarah Beth Pipkin. We call her the mayor of Round Top because she just loves it so much. And so
I can't imagine buying any more of anything. I have nowhere to put it.
Well, if you're watching us on YouTube, you're going to see me say air quotes, downsized.
Yeah, well, I didn't really downsize.
No, not at all.
We're kind of horizontal.
Yeah, right. You just moved up into the sky.
Yeah, we went from 3 stories to 1, but we still have a lot of room.
Yeah, beautiful.
Anyway, we love it.
Absolutely beautiful. You have a beautiful view of the Houston.
Right.
Houston.
I mean, it's a great city to look at. I will say that.
Houston is a great city.
It comes alive at night, too.
Yeah.
And in the mornings. It's
and
nice.
You know what else Houston's having right now? Beautiful weather.
This is we're going to get into a drought issue probably. So we'll have to watch out for that. Mm-hmm. But we're dry for the next 10 days, it looks like. And we got this big, dry cold front coming in Saturday night. So the high on Saturday is going to be in the mid and upper 80s. And then we're going to have the 60s to 70 on Sunday. And even some 30s look like they may be in the forecast for some folks by Tuesday morning.
So if you don't have weekend plans, you should have weekend plans to be outside.
Well, certainly tomorrow is going to be great outdoor dining. It's going to get a little chilly on Sunday, but it could still be done.
Oh, yeah. Houston, that's what makes Houston, I think, unique, is that even if it's a little chilly, we appreciate the chill. We want the chilly.
And here's somewhere to go. Last night, I had the privilege of being at the Buffalo Bayou Partnership Gala.
Was it beautiful?
It was beautiful. It was outside, right there by the skate park and where where the cistern is.
Yes.
So we were there and in a tent outside, and it was cocktails and dinner and some very quick speeches about what they do, and they do a lot. The Kinders were on hand to support them. We should really just name Houston Kinderville. I mean,
they do a lot for the city of Houston. They do so much.
They're so generous.
Yeah.
But the mayor was there, and those running for office, and so a lot of people. I saw Carol Alvarado. She was there.
Nice.
So it was nice to be with some friends. One of the co-chairs, Richard Dawson, asked us to be a part of that. So we did that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Well,
it was fun.
Coming up on Hello Houston, we're going to talk with Deborah Birge, a former rancher, about the state of the cattle industry. But, it's one of those things where there's topics and headlines and
she's
the news keep
an
going.
original that we're going to talk to. I mean, she's a goat.
She
is an original gardener to rancher to cattle baroness.
Yes. She has quite the story. And really, it's going to be interesting to get a pulse on the state of the industry when we look at this, because there's been a lot of conversation. And again, it's top of mind because it's happening to people within our country, within our state.
Yep.
But yeah.
Well, I guess this is an interesting headline you've got for us, because it's sort of good news for people on Medicare.
Definitely.
People, especially if you want to lose weight.
That's
guess.
right. People who rely on Medicare for their health insurance will soon be able to get blockbuster obesity and type 2 diabetes drugs with $50 monthly copays under 2 new deals the Trump administration announced on Thursday. President Trump and his team announced the deals with Novo Nordisk, which makes Ozempic, and Wegovy, and Eli Lilly, which makes Mounjaro and Zepbound from the Oval Office. The companies pledged to offer their blockbuster obesity and type 2 diabetes drugs to Medicare and Medicaid programs for $240 a month, with copays for Medicare beneficiaries set at $50 a month starting in April. State Medicaid programs will have to opt in separately. There are some restrictions. The medicines will only be covered if patients have a body mass index over 27 and established prediabetes or cardiovascular disease, a body mass index over 30, and uncontrolled hypertension, kidney disease, or heart failure, or a body mass index over 35. What are your thoughts on the lower prices? Great idea, or will patients be dependent on them? Now is the time to join us on Hello Houston. You can give us a call or send us a text at 713-440-8870.
Okay, great idea, because Ozempic and Mounjaro and Wegovy, they not only help you reduce your weight, but when you do that, your glucose counts go down, your cholesterol goes down, your heart is in better shape, your diabetes can get under control. They were originally diabetic medicines.
Right.
And people were losing weight. And so the industry said, hey, wait, this is a great weight loss. Here's what's funny to me. I did my BMI, because you could just do the math.
The calculation.
Okay, I weigh 204 pounds.
Okay.
And I'm 5'11". So my BMI is 28. Okay. I am obese.
You're obese.
Look at me in the YouTube camera right now, British guy. Come on, Alex. Tell me I'm not overweight by too much. At least tell me I'm not obese. But according to the BMI, I'm obese. But look, almost everybody has a BMI over 27, even if you're in great shape.
Now, there have been some medical experts who have come out and said the BMI, the body mass index, is not an accurate way to measure obesity. That is something that has been refuted oftentimes, is that this is not the best way to calculate obesity.
Well, in addition to that, almost everyone, especially over 65, who's on Medicare, is pre-diabetic.
But the way I see this is that I do think that we need to be offering these type of medical interventions that are changing the way and are really helping people to lower income families and people that can say, hey, this could really change my life.
And
I can't
it is
afford
expensive otherwise.
It is expensive, and you have to go through certain doctors, and you have to get, it's almost one of those things. Celebrities have been using it for weight loss for years. And now I do think that this is something that needs to be offered to everybody.
Well, and it needs to come with a brochure that says this works best with diet and exercise.
Correct.
If you don't just get,
it's not a magic pill.
It's not. If you just give yourself a shot every week,
and continue to eat the way you're eating and continue to do the normal habits.
It'll help control your appetite, that's for sure. Yeah. But if you're still eating Doritos, you might eat 10 instead of 20, but you're still eating Doritos.
Get the snack pack, not the family size.
Stay away from, have a little Dorito.
Sorry,
but don't just spend all your time eating junk food. You've got to eat healthier, and you've got to do a little exercise. Even if it just means walking 20 minutes a day.
It's a holistic approach. However, what I do understand about these medications and these weight loss drugs is that it really does rewire your brain in the way you look at food, and your sugar cravings go down.
Yep.
And
true.
I think
even alcohol goes.
I've heard
go down.
even alcohol cravings go down. Yeah. I mean, scientifically, I think this is the breakthrough that America needs in regards to weight loss and obesity when we look at it.
I don't want to be too heavy-handed here, but if you go to Europe, you could tell who the Americans are. I'm not kidding. And I'm one of them. I need to lose some weight. So I'm not talking bad about my people. I'm just saying.
Don't talk bad about your people.
I'm just saying that a lot of us could lose weight, and America especially.
Yes. And so, and again, we've been mentioning how Ernie is in Round Top, and, we're going to be talking with him in a little bit, coming up within the hour. Again, also, we are going to be hearing from Deborah Birge, who is a former rancher, about the state of the cattle industry. If you have questions or you want to join the conversation, you can give us a call, 713-440-8870.
Hey, let's move to this one. The annual Lone Star Rally kicked off. I'm telling you, it's loud, but it's fun. And one thing about the Lone Star Rally in Galveston is they always have amazing weather.
What is it, Frank?
Amazing.
No, right. But what is the actual annual Lone Star Rally for those who might not know?
150,000 motorcyclists. 400,000 visitors all attend this 4-day event. It started yesterday. Mm-hmm. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's been going on about 20 years now. So it's an annual event. It's always in November. The weather is always wonderful, and they're going to have another fabulous event. So be safe if you're down there, and if you go to see it all, be safe on the way, because a lot of motorcycles are going to be driving on I-45 with you.
Wear your helmets if you are.
Oh, most of them do.
Okay, I don't see a lot of them.
You don't have to, but most of them do.
But you know where we're going to go really quickly? We're going to head to Round Top right now.
They have a motorcycle rally going on?
No, they have a film festival going on. And our very own Ernie Manouse is out there right now. And we're going to go straight to Ernie. Ernie, can you hear us? Are you there?
I am there, and I can hear you. And okay, we're at Round Top, but it gets even better than that. They have an all-star jury at this film festival, and we have one of those stars with us right now. Mariel Hemingway is with us. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Welcome everybody. Welcome to myself, to Texas. It's awesome.
Well, this is a great festival. This is my first time here. Your first time.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. I mean, we all remember the days, people in the industry remember the days when Sundance was really small, and this has this feel of like, oh, it's just like people getting together, getting to know each other and learning about films, because the industry is really grateful for Texas, because Texas is giving incentives to, make films and all that stuff, and that's, it's nice to get back to that kind of more small, not Hollywood kind of feeling.
Well, it would be hard-pressed to say there's not a bit of a Hollywood feeling here. You're here. There's a bunch of stars here this weekend. Yeah. And what you're here to do is to look at the films in contention, I guess. Yes. And what are you looking for?
Well, I've been the judge of many of the documentaries and the short films. And it's been actually really enlightening, because, I mean, some are comedy, some are drama, some are, they're all mixed up. But, what you just look for is, does this move you? Is it, what's it look like? How does it feel? I mean, you want to lose a thinking part of it. You just want to be wrapped up in the story, or the wherever the journey takes you. And, that's for me as an audience member, not as a member of like the industry. I look at it from a standpoint of like, if I were just a regular person, what moves me, what takes me away. So, and that's been fun.
And I would guess, correct me where I'm wrong here, that maybe this is the same criteria you use when picking a project to do, that you look for the realness, the authenticity, and so that makes you uniquely qualified to judge these kind of things.
And also being a Hemingway, I really look at the words.
A Hemingway? What would that have to do with words?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's very important to me that the dialogue is very natural and feels, authentic. Yeah.
Okay. I was questioning whether or not I should bring this up, but I will. Your first film was almost 50 years ago. Next year will be 50 years of being in this business.
Oh, wow.
And I'm curious, when you come to festivals like this and you look at the work that's coming out now, what have you noticed in the change and the shift in the way we tell stories today?
Well, there's been a tremendous, the 90s it was all flashy and go fast, and we were editing really quickly. We're kind of coming back to a certain kind of storytelling that is more natural. But I have to say, maybe it's because it's my generation. I grew up in the 70s and I watched movies in the 80s, and there seems to be, and maybe it's only because I've gotten older, that I gravitate to that kind of storytelling. It seems to me that there's a lot, not at a festival like this, but a lot of the industry has gone towards, big blockbusters and, stories about Superman 9000. And I was in
I was going to say, you may know something about a Superman film.
But, it just feels like there's a lack of, the small stories do get told, and that's why festivals like this are so important, because it's the storytelling that comes from somebody who's passionate about making films that changes the industry. And with the rise of AI, it's changing the way everything's being done. So I don't know. It's I love the films from back then, but there are many films that are unbelievable right now. So
one more area I want to hit on before you go. In today's world, everything is moving so fast. Working is so hard. So much to depend on. Wellness is something we have to pay attention to.
Yes. Well, that is actually my main focus in life is wellness, health and wellness. I host something called the Tea Circle for Women that is talking about taking care of ourselves, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all kinds of things. My husband and I have created a wellness facility in Los Angeles that we'd like to take worldwide. There's a lot going on, but wellness, longevity, taking care of yourself, it really is it's a non-negotiable for a lot of people. And I think people are really waking up to the fact that if you don't take care of yourself, the quality of your life is not going to be good. And I'm in my mid-60s. I can't believe that. But I feel better than I've ever felt. But I know it's not, yes, I have good genetics, but there's a lot of not good genetics in my family too. So it really has a lot to do with what you want to take responsibility for yourself. So.
Well, what you have to take responsibility for is picking winners here at this festival.
Yes.
Mariel, thank you so much for doing this with us today.
So much.
It's beautiful out here. We're only a 90-minute drive from Houston. Come on out and visit us at the Round Top Film Festival. And back to Celeste and Frank. Thanks, guys.
Nice to see you.
Thanks, Ernie. Yes, Ernie is at the Round Top Film Festival. He's going to be checking in with us again. He's going to be talking to some of the filmmakers themselves coming up later this hour.
And it is nice to see it. We mentioned earlier, they're hoping to become like Sundance. It started small, very intimate, get to know some of the people out there, and then make it a tradition every year as something that brings people together. And as we know, the Texas legislature this year passed like $300 million to give incentives to make films in Texas.
A lot of incentives right now. Texas is kind of on the radar nationally, I would say, in regards to filmmakers. And Houston is very much at the forefront of it. There's also the Cinema Arts Film Festival that's happening this weekend as well, right here in Houston.
And we have so many venues, from mountains to lakes to almost jungles in some part of Texas. It's the piney woods. I mean, we really
have a lot of
different places that people can film.
Topography?
Topography, yeah.
Topography. But earlier we were talking about how people who rely on Medicare for their health insurance will soon be able to get blockbuster obesity and type 2 diabetes drugs with $50 monthly copays under 2 new deals the Trump administration announced on Thursday. And we did get a call. Teresa from Memorial is on the line who has a comment about that. Teresa, welcome to Hello Houston. What is your question or comment? Teresa, are you there? And I guess we lost Teresa. I'm getting a signal that she must have dropped. But coming up on Hello Houston, we're going to be talking with Deborah Birge about the cattle industry. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
Hi, I'm Michael Schaefer. My partner Ellen and I have been proud supporters of public radio and TV for decades.
We really would be lost without our daily fix of unbiased national and local news, cultural programming, and great entertainment.
But with recent federal defunding, stations like Houston Public Media face real challenges.
Now's the time to step up.
Give now at houstonpublicmedia.org.
Thank you.
Public Media. That's why you're here right now. Take the next step and become a new member today. Every gift makes a difference. And with a gift of $5 or more per month, you'll receive PBS Passport, a member benefit that lets you stream more of the shows you love anytime. It only takes a few minutes to make a big difference. Become a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
This is Eric Glass. On This American Life, we like stories that surprise you. For instance, imagine finding a new hobby and realizing
to do this hobby right, according to the ways of the masters, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to have to bend the law to get the materials that you need.
If not break it.
Yeah, to break international laws.
Real life stories, really good ones, every week.
It's American Life. You can hear that tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Imagine two friends getting together.
So what's happening in Congress?
Well, this is something that is going to be tough to defend in an election year. And that's assuming it even passes, which it might not.
Imagine you could listen in.
And then what about the Senate? The bills are just rocketing out of the chamber.
Have they gone too far? The House might say, well, wait a minute.
Well, you can. Party Politics with Brandon Rottinghouse and Geronimo Cortina. Fridays at 7:30 p.m. on News 88.7, at 8 on TV 8, and on your favorite podcast platforms.
And now back to Hello Houston. Join the conversation. Call now, 713-440-8870, or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's Ernie Manouse, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
America's cattle industry is facing new tensions after the Trump administration announced plans to quadruple low-tariff imports of Argentine beef. The move is aimed at lowering record-high beef prices, but it's drawing sharp criticism from U.S. ranchers who fear it could undercut domestic producers already struggling with drought, high feed cost, and the smallest cattle herd in decades. To help us understand what this all means for ranchers on the ground here in Texas and how policy decisions in Washington ripple through rural communities, we're joined by Deborah Birge, a former rancher from Richmond, Texas. She spent years raising cattle and livestock, and she's seen firsthand how challenges like drought, plant closures, and shifting markets affect small operations. Deborah, welcome to Hello Houston.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to have someone of your caliber. You really are.
Yes.
You are really the original. Tell people a little bit about your background, because I know you came from just, digging up your own potatoes to raising cattle.
That's right. I was born and raised in East Texas. And of course, we had a large family, and we relied on our family plot. We had cow for milk and chickens for meat and eggs. So we did a lot of canning, and we were just self-sustaining. Left, came to Houston because my mother in particular wanted a better life. She was tired of that. So came to Houston.
It's a lot of work.
Yes. And let me tell you that after we finally came to Houston, and then I went to school, got married, had children, raised those children, my husband and I moved to some acreage out in Richmond. And I was like, oh, I really want to experience that feeling I had of being on the farm and being with livestock. So I began growing vegetables, selling them at farmers markets, took classes on small acreage farming and on small livestock through Texas A&M. Became partners with another lady that owned a dairy goat herd. And so we started selling at the farmers markets. There were only 3 at the time in the Houston area, St. John's, one in Seabrook, and one in Needville. So we would make the tour, and we sold raw milk and the chickens and eggs and oh gosh.
We know a lot of people don't know that FM, like FM 1960, FM means farm to market.
That's right. And that's kind of what we were doing. So it was a lot of fun. But yes, to your point, it is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to harvest and to manage the livestock. So it's not easy. Mm-hmm. And I had a very small operation, but that's primarily the majority of operators in Texas are small cow-calf operations on less than 10 acres. There are about around 55,000 small acreage ranchers just in Texas, and they raise over 256,000 head of cattle each year. Wow. So although we have some very large operations that have large herds, the majority of the hard work is done by small operations. And that's what I had.
Which, Deborah, now that we know your experience and the fact that you understand it's so locally here to our area, how would you say the overall health of the cattle business is doing today based on your experience?
Well, my experience is that really the small rancher, the small operator is really getting squeezed out, because in my experience, in my area, we're losing land exponentially. There have been, over 1,000 acres just in my area that have been converted to subdivisions. And, progress is good. You can't stop that, but still you get squeezed out. And then you have all the economical, all the environmental problems, mm-hmm. the freezes and the droughts. And of course, that affects everything, like the cost of feed, and that's very high. So it's difficult. People don't really understand that when you have an operation, you have a drought, you can't feed your cattle, you have to sell those cattle off, even your breeders. So that means after the drought is over, then you have to begin your seed herd again. So you have to buy heifers, you have them get older, you can finally breed them, and then those heifers you try to keep again, so you're only selling off your steers. And you have to build up gradually, but that means that you have less meat that you're sending to market. So when you're hit by some catastrophe like the drought, you can lose a lot, and you don't start getting back on your feet until years afterwards. So beef is expensive right now, but I will tell you those same ranchers were in dire straits just a few years ago with the drought and the cost of feed. I used to buy a large bale of hay for $35, but after that drought in, I think it was 2018, I was paying $160 a bale.
Wow.
Now, when you go through a bale a week, that's a lot of money. So it takes a long time to recuperate from environmental problems and from the markets going up and down. It's not an easy thing.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the price of beef. There seems to be this fragmentation between farmers being able to sustain their herds and crops, charging higher prices and coming out of, like you said, when they're in the negative or trying to just catch up. Yet consumers don't like being the ones facing that price tag. President Trump addressed this by promising voters he would bring down prices immediately upon taking office, which did not happen. And now he's talking of boosting the supply with imported beef, which is really upsetting ranchers. Deborah, do you think there can be
and it should.
Do you think there should be a balance? Do you think there can be a balance achieved between policy, farmers, and consumers?
Maybe. Americans are by and large spoiled, rotten. Food is expensive in other parts of the world. It's always been cheap here. When we get hit with higher prices, it's harder for us to accept, why it is higher, just like when eggs became really high. Well, eggs were really high. It wasn't a personal attack on consumers, but it's because we had bird flu. And if you have one chicken sick in your flock with bird flu, all of them, if you have 10,000, they all have to be killed. And so, again, you have to start again with the small chicks. You raise them up, then it takes 9-10 months for them to begin to lay eggs. It's a process. And people don't want to think about this. They just want to be angry about the prices. So could there be a middle ground? Yeah, but it would take a lot of education and telling people this is how the mechanism works. This is how you get your beef. This is how you get your eggs. This is how you get your vegetables. I used to teach third graders in elementary about growing. We did a small gardening program each year. And it was amazing to me how many children had no idea where their food came from. They had no idea that carrots come from seeds or that peas are in pods. They just don't know. So, yeah, it would take education. It would take people appreciating the fact that, beef is high. Maybe you eat less beef. Now, that's not really going to negatively affect the beef community, the producers, because, there are still a lot of beef out there that people can buy. So, it's education for the consumer as to cause and effect, and not begrudging the ranchers when they have a good year, because next year they could have a really bad year and then they don't have any beef to send to the market, or they have to send all their beef to the market, which again drops the prices way down.
We're talking to Deborah Birge. If you have a question, 713-440-8870. She's a former rancher. Deborah, I don't want to strike any chords here, but the rodeo always has the farm to market displays and the kids displays. I've done so many stories on how the whole process works. It never seemed to hit me like you're telling it today. It's a much harder industry. What would be your advice if you've taught third graders, if you were teaching the high schoolers who are interested in going into agriculture, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to, if they love it, You have to love it. You have to have an affinity for animals. I've never met a rancher or a farmer that does not love their animals and treats them kindly and with respect, because you're with them every single day, several times a day. So I would tell them, if you love it, do it. It's hard. It's not easy. You can find a niche, something that you can grow. Like my cattle, I grew. They were a unique breed because they had very low fat content in the meat. So I had a market of people that wanted that for health reasons. So look for your niche. Look for cheap land, which means you're going to have to move out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you love it,
ask for the mineral rights when you buy that land.
Deborah.
Oh my gosh, always.
Deborah, you bought cattle, and you mentioned Longhorn being the choice. How did you make that? How did you come to that decision? That seems very niche.
Well, okay. So, as I said, I took some classes in livestock. And so at first I was going to go with goats, and then I learned about goats. And then I thought, maybe sheep, maybe something else, rabbits. There are a lot of different choices. And so I decided that I really like cows a lot. So I thought, well, we'll do cattle. So I had been raised around Angus and Brangus and Jerseys and all of those. And I thought, well, if I'm going to have something out in the pasture, I would really like it to be something that I enjoy looking at. So I thought, well, Longhorns are kind of lawn ornaments. So, and they be eaten. And sure enough, they can be eaten. And their meat is 97% fat free.
Wow.
And of course, mine were completely grass-fed, so it was delicious beef. So that was my choice, and I was able to hit a niche market, as I said, that really wanted that healthy beef.
Thank you. You're listening to Hello Houston. We are speaking with Deborah Birge, a former rancher, about the state of the cattle industry. And if you'd like to join the conversation, you can give us a call or send us a text, 713-440-8870. We do have a call on the line, Valentine from Backcliff. Valentine, welcome to Hello Houston.
Hello.
Hi, what's up? What's on your mind?
Hey, so I had a quick question. With everything going on and farmers being upset that we're outsourcing the proteins, the beef, I run a restaurant here in the Backcliff area, and I would love to do like a steak night, but beef straight purchase from the ranchers. I understand that sometimes the meat doesn't fit the purveyor's standards, but there's nothing wrong with it, just as the lean meat of the Longhorns. I'm sure that there's some ranchers out there that would love to, sell locally, and people that would love to come and enjoy that locally.
Valentine.
How do I get in contact with them is basically the question, I suppose.
Yes. Deborah, your response for Valentine?
Well, I didn't hear him very well, but was he saying something about ranchers should sell directly to restaurants?
I think that was essentially the question, and we'll try to get that question also written down for us so we can ask you, Deborah. But I think Valentine was saying, basically that it becomes difficult when you're going from, there's a lot of middle parts to this from a restaurant perspective. Is there any contacts or way or recommendations for a restaurant to go directly to a rancher?
Oh, well, of course, yes. You certainly can. Now, there are a lot of considerations to take in on this. Number one, your supplier needs to have a USDA label, and that means the beef will be slaughtered under a meat inspection specialists, and so they're inspected by the health department, a lot of other things. But it's a very good thing to get your USDA license, and then you can, as a supplier, you can go directly to the restaurant, or you can go to a meat market, perhaps. I sold meat directly to a meat market in Austin for a few years. So you can do that. The problem you have, of course, is making sure you have a constant supply to give that restaurant. You don't want to put something on your menu and then have to say, oh, it's not available. Oh, it's not available. So constant supply has to be one of the considerations for selling directly to restaurants and groceries.
Yeah, Valentine's question was how does he contact farmers who don't want to deal with the middlemen, just deal with the restaurants? So that was his question.
Yeah.
How do I go straight to the rancher?
How do you go straight to the rancher? Well, you can always advertise. If you have a certain animal, like you want to do Angus, let's say, there are Angus associations that you can contact, and they'll have a list of ranchers, and you can contact them. And some of them, like I say, they have to get a USDA license, which is not easy, but it can be done. And then they can sell directly to you.
Deborah, you're so interesting. Let me ask you this. What are you doing now? I mean, I know that I read your bio, and between droughts and Hurricane Harvey and COVID and beef prices, everything just came to a head, and you closed your slaughterhouse. What are you doing now?
Well, now I still have some cows I wrangle, and I have my chickens, and I have the garden, but it's a lot less to do than I used to do. And I'm happy with that. I grow fruit trees, and I enjoy that. I work with a volunteer organization where I do little talks on how to grow fruit trees and on plant diseases, that type of thing.
Yeah. Deborah, it feels like the conversation around agriculture and food supply in the United States of America continues to seem to be one that we can't quite figure out perfectly. We can't quite get that formula. What do you think needs to happen, and where are we headed?
Well, I'm actually encouraged by the future. We have some real difficulties coming, mainly environmental issues. But land-grant universities are very busy doing a lot of research on how to grow older heritage crops, how to grow crops with less water. It's called heat farming. I think that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Deborah.
Yes?
Yes. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had more to say.
Okay. So, I'm encouraged by the future, and I think we'll do well. There are a lot of changes that can be made and will be made by the younger people coming into the industry. As far as the animals are concerned, I really don't know what's going to happen to that type of industry. I know it's a big change, and frankly, people should watch California. California is leading in its treatment of animals that go to slaughter, and I think the rest of the country will move that way. I think people also will begin to change their diet, and a lot of that has to do, again, with education on animals and how they are treated in the process of becoming your food.
Well, we got to run. I just want to say thank you. I come from farmers, and thank you for really your service to putting food on our tables. I appreciate it.
Deborah Birge, a former rancher about the state, is joining us today to talk about the state of cattle industry. Deborah, thank you so much for joining us on Hello Houston.
Thank you very much.
Coming up, we're going to head out to Round Top, where our very own Ernie Manouse is going to join us with some filmmakers. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
It's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross-country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
MBAevents.com. Make it here.
Ellen Benninghoven and Dr. Michael Schaefer, proud sponsors of Houston Matters with Craig Cohen. Tune in Monday through Friday at 9 on News 88.7.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from the 45th Annual Houston Ballet Nutcracker Market, coming to NRG Center November 13th through 16th. Early bird and general admission tickets available at Ticketmaster and select HEB business centers.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on any of today's topics, call 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now here's Ernie Manouse, Celestia Sherman, and Frank Billingsley.
Throughout our show, Hello Houston's own Ernie Manouse has been chatting with us live from the Round Top Film Festival taking place this weekend in Round Top. That's just up the road between Houston and Austin. Let's check back in with him now. Hello, Ernie. Beautiful weather. How's it going out there?
Hello, folks. It's going wonderful. I actually feel kind of bad because I get to be here and you have to be in a studio, but we're almost done with the show today, so you guys can head on out. You could even come up here to Round Top. It's just 90 minutes from Houston, and it's a wonderful day. I'm here with Blair Hunt right now, who is the artistic director of the Round Top Film Festival. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, there are lots of festivals that happen, and even a few that are happening this same weekend. My question is, when putting this together, what are you looking for to make this truly Round Top's Film Festival, Texas's film festival?
Yeah, I mean, Round Top is really known for being an artistic community with heavy influences from fashion and philanthropic giving and ideas, and so we're really just looking for something in terms of the films that's, you know, telling a story, highlighting a person, maybe helping people learn something new that they didn't already know, while also really embracing the culture of this town. So really having all of that, you know, community artist vibe to it. As you can see, I mean, we're in this amazing pavilion right now with vendors that are doing leather goods, and there's music, and so all of our films kind of have touches on all of those elements. You know?
So when you're picking the body of work that's going to be shown here,
yeah.
Are you thinking about the ancillary connections to the area? Are you thinking this documentary is good because it's about music and we have a music scene? This one because it focuses on fashion icon like Lynn Wyatt, so we have fashion here represented.
Exactly. Yeah, we're thinking about our audience, but we're also thinking about really having something that's diverse so that we can appeal to everybody's tastes, because it's not just about the one person who loves fashion. It's about, you know, the rancher who is a film goer and doesn't really know what he wants to see, but he wants to hear a good story or something like that. So it's really, it's hitting all the marks in terms of the comedy, the drama. You know, you'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll go away really angry, really happy, laughing at a silly moment. So we want to make sure that there's really something for everybody.
Okay, a hidden gem you got to put in the festival that was, you didn't care what anyone thought, you loved it, it's going in.
She dances. It's Steve
No
Zahn.
hesitation. You went right with it. You knew what it was.
It's so good. It's Steve Zahn and his real life daughter, and it's kind of a story about their relationship. And she in real life is a dancer since the age of 3 years old, and so this father-daughter kind of dynamic, and it was such a beautiful film. It's just a really good story. Yeah.
Well, that's great to have.
Yeah.
People need to come out here and see it. What do you still have coming up over the next couple days?
Oh gosh, so many panels. Tomorrow we have our Rising Star panel, which is up and coming young talent from all over the country, and they've got like
Somebody
blockbusters.
told me last year you had that panel, and they were just wowed by the panel.
they're the most interesting young people who have such a career ahead of them. We know that they're going places. It's a really cool conversation. So we have that. Tonight we have our tributes, of course, with all of our, legendary, iconic artisans in costume and casting and production. John Mounjaro is coming. He's an actor who's in Omaha, which we're screening here at the festival. So he's going to be spotlighted for that and his entirety of his, career. Sunday we're featuring stunt panelists because it's a new addition to the Oscars, and we really want to get ahead of it. I don't think any other just regular festival, a non-stunt focused festival, is doing those honors. So we're really excited about having icons and legendary people like Vic Armstrong coming to sit on that. And
for
then
folks
also
who want to find all of this out, where can they go on
the website? Roundtopfilmfest.org. And so you can go on the website and you can get a pass that's a full weekend pass. You can get a day pass. You can just show up at the theater and try to rush one of the films. It's all available, and you can also just come in and check out the intermission here, which is music and food and drinks and artisans and vendors.
Before this is over, you'll be mayor of Round Top. Blair, thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So we talked a little bit about the different films and the panels, and then there are some great filmmakers, actors, performers here. It's quite an event. Joining me now, Alfonso Maiorana. Pretty close. He did an amazing film called The Goddess of Slide. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Josh Hopkins, you may recognize next to me. Not only has he done a million things, you may know him from Cougar Town, from Shrinking. You might also know he's an Austintonian now, if that's what you call him, right?
That's right. Yeah, happy to be, proud to be.
So what brought you to Austin?
I mean, the fall of LA in some regards, but I kind of was pre-COVID, so I kind of helped lead the charge. Sorry to people in Austin who are sick of people from LA coming, but I've been coming to Austin for 30 years. I have friends here, and I always knew I wanted to end up in Austin.
Yeah.
And so when the time presented itself, when I knew it was right, I moved about 6 years ago.
We'll talk in just a second with Alfonso about this, but for you as an actor, what about environment helps you create what you then do on screen? Living in Austin, does that change the way you look at things and you see the world, which then we see in your work?
Well, absolutely, especially compared to living in Los Angeles for 27 years, which is, it's simply an industry town. And so your plumber comes over and he finds out you're an actor and he's got a script for you. And in Austin,
they'll fix your plumbing and then they'll give you the script.
Exactly. But it's more the real world, and people, you get to see more of actual life and people that aren't just moving there for one industry. I just really love it. It's just full of artists and music, and it's really refreshing and nice.
And Alfonso, your job most of the time is to tell people stories, get inside and reveal them and what they are. You have a great film here. People are loving it. There's been a lot of talk about The Goddess of Slide. Tell me a little bit about how you discovered this story and why people need to know it.
Well, for one thing, I always like doing the untold story, and documentary filmmaking for me, it's more about that sort of a revelation, something that appeals to me and something that I can learn from, and, educate people from. So for me, when the way I discovered Ellen, there's a New Orleans connection. I was doing a film previously called Rumble, The Indians Who Rocked the World, that won at Sundance in 2017, and I was in New Orleans filming the Neville Brothers, and then there was a blackout in all of New Orleans, and while we were having this discussion, Cyril Neville, the drummer, asked me, he said, you should go get this album called The Guitar Album at Peach's Record Shop. So the next morning I did, because he says, all the greatest guitar players, male guitar players, are on this compilation album that came out in 73 and 74. So when I went out there, I purchased the 74 album. When I turned it over, there was Eric Clapton, Roy Buchanan, Rory Gallagher, Link Ray, T-Bone Walker, and then Ellen McElwain. And she had 3 songs, and one of them was live at Carnegie Hall in 1973. So I went to the hotel, and I was carrying a portable record player, and I went straight to We the People, this song that she did live. And as soon as I heard it, I got my chills. I said, oh, who's this person? And then 4 years later, I received a random email from Ellen, who had just seen Rumble, and said, hey, congratulations on your film. I didn't know it was Ellen McElwain. She just said, hi, my name is Ellen.
And it began quite a journey.
And then it became a journey of discovery for me.
I've heard a story you two have worked together. You didn't know you were going to be paired up here today.
No, we didn't know each other was going to be here, and we worked together first time 25 years ago on a movie called One-Eyed King.
Bobby Moresco.
Yeah, I was a kid and he was still a kid.
And I had hair.
You had hair back
I had a long
then.
hair, yeah. And then we worked another 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, every time I went to Montreal.
Yeah, every time in Montreal.
We
So I was like pleasantly shocked and surprised and happy to see him last night.
It was really
really cool.
25 years ago.
That's part of the joy of having a festival. It's people getting a chance to see each other, and I think a lot of things get born in this environment.
Absolutely, bring artists together, and inevitably art will come out of it.
You're going to be up on a panel, it's coming up today, about bringing film to Texas, and this is a new ground for filmmakers.
Yeah, well, I mean, before I moved here, I shot in Austin several times, and none since I've moved there. So
well,
you
that
can tell
hopefully
it's time to get all the
that hopefully is going to change.
Yes.
The Film Fest is going on for the rest of the weekend. Please look it up, find out more about it, go to the website and visit it, roundtopfilmfest.org. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us today on Hello Houston. And I've got to throw it back to the studio. Sorry, guys. We're just going to enjoy the beautiful weather out here. See you later. Bye-bye.
That was great. Thank you.
Thanks, Ernie. And that brings us to the end of the week for
Hello, Houston.
We want to thank you for watching and listening and joining us. We'll be back on Monday with more conversations. In the meantime, you can catch the best of Hello Houston Saturdays at 1 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. right here on News 88.7. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menjivar, Jen Altine, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
I'm Michael Schaefer. My partner